This is something new. What's up, Shawn?
How you doing?
I'm excited. Shawn
Yeah.
knows why I'm excited. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So, Shawn, we got a new show.
Yes.
We're going to be doing it together. This
Yes,
is
we are.
something different.
Totally.
Totally.
I'm
So,
excited. I'm super excited for this.
I am so excited. So, this is going to be okay. So, I had my notes. I don't know where I put them because I wrote them
Uh-huh.
down so fast earlier. You were like, okay, write this down, write this down. So, okay. Okay. Wait, I have it on here. I
You
have
guys,
I
nobody knows
have
this,
it.
but we just showed her the new track. She's a little speechless at the moment.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so okay. This is a Free Your Soul on the Yaya Diamond show. I just right? That's what we talked about, right?
Yeah, it's a Yaya Soul production, if you want to call it, but it's you, but it's together we're that. And then
Yeah.
we're going to call it Creative Juices because we're going to talk about all these different things. And we're going to have a couple little segment and sections to it because we talk all the time anyway. We were like, how are we not just doing this on camera and letting it flow?
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, it's only been like what, 2 weeks since we met?
Feels like a lifetime to me. I feel like I've known you for 10,000 years.
Oh my 10,000? I'm that old? Oh.
Kidding. Steve Dewberry, one of the writer for Tina Turner, no, he says it all the time. Hey, we did this already 10,000 years ago.
So, oh my gosh. Okay, so the introduction is just, basically we're just gonna let it go. We're just gonna talk
Absolutely.
about all the kind of things that we want to talk about. But okay, so Shawn, you have to say your side, and I'm gonna say my side of how we met.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
so
So
go
me,
ahead.
I talked about this before in the last show we did. We, come from the lifeguarding world and the athletic world. At one point, I wanted to, actually, my wife wanted to learn guitar. I went to Guitar Center and got a phone number. And that phone number was a guy named Stefan Villanueva. And from that, I went and met him. And he said, do you sing or do anything? I said, no, not really. He said, you write? I said, yes. And what I did was try to write the first song, lyrically. And I came back and it was 6 pages long. And he said, Shawn, it's a 3-minute song. How are you going to get all 6, pages in there? I said, I don't know. I never wrote a song before. He said, well, guess what? Let's get to the point, which it taught me to do. Songwriting taught me to get to the point. And in 3 minutes or the amount of time you have, let's get there. Let's tell the story and get to the point as quickly as possible and as clearly as possible. So from that, music started growing, and it was more of an acoustic thing at that time. And then I was in St. Bart's with my wife. We go there, and it's a crazy cool island, but so everybody knows, it's just Christopher Columbus's brother Bartholomew, who also missed America. And he landed there, and Christopher landed in a Discovery Bay in Jamaica. So they both thought they landed in America. They weren't there. So it's, I guess, crazy and wild, and high end as that sounds, it was just an island where they landed and thought they were in America. So it's called St. Bart's, or Bartholomew for his name. And he was performing, and I shazammed his music. And I said, wow, man, I wonder if I could ever do this kind of music. And for 6 months, he ghosted me. He didn't say one word. And I was like, okay, maybe not. It came around Christmas time. And he said, oh, maybe you could try the title track. Either way, long story short, we ended up doing the whole album together. And for 2 days, we were #1 on iTunes France. I mean, against everybody in dance music. So then it was like, wow, maybe we can do this. So we kept going and going. And now we're at the point now where, we wrote 47 tracks during COVID. We've been #1 in so many countries and all over the world. We're actually currently #1 in Brazil on their big RCN radio there, RCN, they call it. Yeah. So, unbelievably, now that this style of music, and we play the instruments as well. So we brought the live real instrument world and vocal world into a DJ duo or electronic duo, that because most guys either hire they're going to hire the singer or they're going to hire out, but we do it all in house. So when we're in the backyard having a barbecue, we can sing. And when we're on stage, we want it to be like that, a backyard barbecue where everybody is having fun and enjoying, and it should have a feel of a very relaxed scenario. And here we are today. And I got introduced to Yaya, and I did an interview with her, and by my manager, Steve Hart, right?
Yeah.
Cool, lovely guy. We make fun of him all day long, and we give him all kinds of, guff, but we love him to death, and we just make him get in there. I'm an athlete. I tell him, come on, Steve, I'm going to get benched for 3 innings when I go up, and so are you, and blah, blah, blah. We just have a banter, which is super funny. We say we love each other all day long, but I'm a funny guy. I'm an athlete, so I really think it's just hilarious to play from that athletic side of things. Anyway, my point is that he introduced me to Yaya, and it was literally massive I call them kablooms instead of kabooms because we're blooming, and I mean it just opens up and becomes this beautiful thing. And we just did a track together. She had a killer idea, and she'll tell you about that. And it was about something like change the world, I think it was, and I'll give it away a little bit. We ran with this thing with the the inspiration and vocal that she had. Absolutely gorgeous. It was just what everybody needs right now. The world needs this a little bit of change. It is a crazy time, and I just showed it to her. We've been working on it for the last 2 weeks, and she has been, I'll just say, on my back. No, I was going to say something else.
Really?
Up inside, going, let's go, Shawn. She's about to knock me out if I don't send this thing soon enough. So I didn't get the Yaya knockout blow. So I said, "Ooh, just before the show, shall I just send you the track?" So we're going to master it tomorrow at Bernie Grunman's with a gentleman named Mike Bosey, who's everybody from Post Malone to tons of different people. And Bernie did Thriller and the Chronic. But Mike we use because he's a hip hop guy, super good guy. And it's an interesting thing to put his style of mastering in a dance track, which, listen, it's all music is all music anyway, no matter where you're coming from. It was about, listen, in the old days, walking around a fireplace and having something that a beat came from somewhere, and it started. So in essence, our musical careers together have been 40 years apart, and now they just came together, and we're going to change the world.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, Shawn. I mean, you are such a jerk. You showed that song to me before we came on the air. I was like,
I videoed the whole expression. I was like, "Ooh, I'm going to catch it on my phone." And
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I was absolutely, I mean, okay, so on my end, how I met Shawn. I mean, literally he just, you know, y- it's like this. Shawn just popped up on my calendar. It was like Shawn Pereira. I was like, okay, Shawn Pereira. All right. I'm interviewing Shawn Pereira. All right.
me too.
I had no idea who you were. And then, I go back and I study and I kind of look people up before the interview and all that. And it says Shawn Pereira. Oh, okay. So he's got the number one song. Okay. He's doing good. Okay. Let me listen to some of the music. And I was like, okay, get familiar with who Shawn is before he comes on the show. Great. Then Shawn comes on the show and it's like, my best friend ever. And I'm like, I'm going to bother the heck out of this guy to the point where he's going to be like, oh, it's Yaya.
It's fun to know one. That's what I get. Everybody tells me there's no other human being that's supposed to be grown up where the kids say, "That's enough, Shawn." They tire us out, but I'm telling you, everybody knows it. I have to hear, "Hey, that's enough, Shawn. It's enough." So, but your energy matches mine, and I think it takes two peas in the pod that understand each other from many perspectives, very seriously and very lovingly and happily. But that's who we are anyway, and we already were. So when you get those two energies together, it's a very, very rare and fun thing because you usually don't see two eagles flying together. They usually soar in their own space. But since we both understand, this quality of life is to be shared, we're able to share that space. And boy, that air is nice and clear up there.
It is. It's really nice and clear. And I mean, okay, so we did the interview, and then all of a sudden it was like, he was like, "Oh, stay in touch, this and that and that." I mean, I got text messages from Shawn that were like, "Hey, that," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that was just today." He was like, "Yes, yes." So we made that connection. It was so cool, and I believe it was like within that couple of days that we first met. Am I right? I took myself out to a restaurant.
You
I
did.
sat down, and I kind of had my back to everybody, and there was this. I guess people were coming in. There was this guy that comes in, and he sits. He sits with a lady, and all I hear is, "I'm gonna change the world." I was like, that's the song. And I heard him say, "I'm gonna change the world." And then she was like, "Oh, you can't change the world, this and that and the other. You're never gonna do it. That's not." And he says, "Why do you always put me down? Why do you always like every time I have an idea, it's like always, and then he walks out.
Who was
And
he?
I'm like,
Was he with just a date or something? He was on a date.
I have no idea. They were right behind me and it was just like click.
Yeah.
And I finished my lunch
Right.
and I went straight home and got this bogus track that I just needed something to write to, and I wrote the song.
You did all the music originally too, right?
Huh?
You did all the music originally as well too, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, the original, if you call that original music, because I can't play anything. I can hear it all in my head, but I really can't play.
I think
But
the greatest part was is that
the beat, the
there,
actual
oh,
tempo,
it
that
was actually
yeah,
there. It just that's what Nico does. That's what Nicholas, my partner. I mean, he's the guy that sits there and just obsesses over every single dB and space and makes room for all the music to have its own, I guess, a line. You know what I mean? It all
right.
has a lane, I should say. Everything
Mhm.
has its own lane because I always say I want to be able to visually see each instrument. Again, I don't, the wall of sound was an amazing thing, but I get lost in it a little bit. I like to have that, um, precise split there. I guess if you fire the shotgun, that's a little bit more like the wall of sound. If you pick up the rifle, Walter List taught me that was the president of 40 years ABC worldwide television when I met him,
Yeah.
my mentor for a little while. And he said, Shawn, put down the shotgun and pick up the rifle and take dead aim at each thing you want. You can have a million things, but take dead aim, each time. So I think with an instrument, it should be that, which is our
Mhm.
instrument too, is our voices. So each one should have its clear lane and be able to be perfectly heard. And it shouldn't be in the way of another, instrument or another sound or another whatever it is. So what you did, you created the magic of the song anyway. And so it was, the next step is to take that magic and then let Nico do his thing because that's what he does. I don't ever get in the way of that. And guess what? He doesn't miss.
And I'm telling you, I'm in love with it. I mean, I can't wait for people to hear it, but that's pretty much our history. And I guess we'll be doing more songs together.
Absolutely. So again, you start somewhere, and once you find that spark, how could you not want to keep going, right? I think
Yeah.
an easy. It's just an easy decision. I mean, it's no decision at all. It's we're
Uh,
friends, and we say very very funny things to each other, and we won't talk about those on here. But boy, we're funny. I love it. I think it's just like it's like your sister. He's your sister. It's just everything. I love it because it's that free and that open, and we giggle about it, and we're also in the same vein. We're very serious, and that's
yeah.
what makes it work. Because if you're not that, if those elements of actually being honed at your craft and good at your craft, and sometimes it's just time that makes that happen. That you can't really move to the next level of giggling and laughing and enjoying because listen, we're butt haulers. We go all day and all night, and we do not understand anybody that doesn't want to equate that effort.
That's right. That's right.
And all these smiles because guess what? They usually make us, they put us in an energy that isn't the same if you're not equating someone's effort.
Now, Shawn, you go like days without sleeping
I
sometimes. And it's
sit,
like,
I sit for an
I
hour or two.
don't see how you could do that.
Well, I would tell you this. My new buddy, Hanuman Das, who's one of the, I don't know what to call it, disciple, but he's one of the guys that said he's under Ram Das. And he was one of the guys that was on the plane when we went to do the big show in Aspen for 100 billion meals, which Tony Robbins' team, uh,
Mhm.
Jarvis and Scott Lewis, and a couple of the other ones are super cool. Roberto Tedesco, they all brought me in on the team. They surprised me with a phone call after that and said, we have 7 names we want to call you, but let me hang up. We're going to figure it out. And they came up with ambassador of creative impact. So I am now on the 100 billion meals challenge team with Tony and the gang. And it's something that I've not, this is actually the first time I'm even saying it. I've not even announced it yet. I wanted to wait for the right time because everything's been going on. But, I guess this is the time. It's one of the greatest platforms you can be on because I get told daily that I sound like him.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing. And even the woman that married him, Kathy, I believe her name's Kathy, she said, Shawn, I've been on the call and I can't believe how much you sound like Tony. And I said, oh, cool. She was the officiator of their wedding. I think it was 35 years ago. So an interesting, very cool thing. And we're just being ourselves. I mean, this is why we're on the show. We're here to tell you guys that, actually not even tell, we're just sharing. What we're doing is
That's
sharing.
right. That's
That's it.
right. We're sharing. And this shows
That's the name of the new, our record label is Love and Excellence because I had it Love and Sunshine. And then I thought, but I can go to the tanning salon and buy sunshine for $50. So excellent. excellence, I can't go down to any store. I've looked on many aisles at Target and CVS and Costco, and I just can't find that one.
No, no, no. But no, like, okay, so all of this to say that we're gonna have this amazing show that we're gonna be talking about like the eight scales of music and free flowing and maybe even some interviews with some of your friends and some of my friends and people that we know in the music industry and so on.
Sure. And then what do we mean by the eight scales of music? We mean that what we're going to do something is very similar to what Investors Business Daily. So I was in a studio recording when I very first recorded with Michael Vale Blum, and he was right behind the Starbucks on Ventura Boulevard, kind of in the Encino-ish area, I guess you'd say, Sherman Oaks-ish area, and saw him online, went there, had no idea. I waited 45 minutes out in front. I didn't understand what was going on. I just kept on seeing him rushing in with like things from the little pharmacy next door, and I guess it was for the guy's throat. Well, either way, that guy came out and sat next to me, and he started talking, and I was like, "Oof, is that?" And he said, "Sorry, man, my voice was locked up." It was Roger Daltrey from The Who. Where I went and sang for the first time, and he said, "I just did Texas Rose for Jean-Paul DeJoria, who's his buddy. That's the guy that started Patron, and he started originally with John Paul Mitchell. And when Paul Mitchell passed, he took it over and made it a big thing. So I got this, and he told me, "You're going to be singing into Willie Nelson's mic." And I just got done, and I said, "Wow, he just got done, Roger." And I said, "Wow, this is going to be a cool first-time vocal session," because I mean, think about the history of that. And funny, we just had Taj Jackson, Tito's son. He directed and shot and is cutting and everything our new video for our Street Sugar song that just came out a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
And he said, "Oh man, I was in this group, 3T," and I said, "Oh cool, that's so funny. You must know this guy." And I said, "It's a three name word for a gentleman that is a engineer and producer and his name is Michael Vale Blum." He said, "Yeah, I know." I said, "Yeah, you know why I know? Because when you went to the bathroom at the studio, which is a very small little studio, there was your guys' gold record or platinum record, one of the records there. Next to it was the Tree of Music for England and the bathroom door." And I said, "I looked at your whatever that was, the gold record or whatever award it was on the wall every day." And I mean, this is last week. And he just tripped out. He was like, "Wow, I cannot believe." So we're super excited about that. They're editing that video right now too, and probably he'll do ours too, mine and yours. I mean, I'm pretty sure that. I'm giving away stuff here, but so you got Taj Jackson. So I'm
coming. Where's my plane ticket? I would be there. Yes. Oh, sorry.
So we had to take him home. We had to take him home after the shoot the other day, and he said, "I'm going to my grandma's," and we said, "Okay, cool." Well, I forgot to, realize in my mind that we were taking him to Michael Jackson's mom's house.
Yeah.
And that's where we went. And I'm not going to tell you where it is.
Oh, of course not.
No. But I don't think we should talk about it on the show.
No, definitely not. No. We don't divulge people's private information. Definitely not. But I mean, oh my gosh, that is just amazing. I mean, the Jacksons, they're an amazing talent. The entire family.
Are you free to talk about the connection of how that all? Because I think there's some form of relationship to you. Well, anyway, your family history, maybe we could talk about.
Yeah, but now. So, all right.
You might as well.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I'm the only daughter, the only child of my mom, who is Evelyn Thomas. She is the queen of high energy music, and her song came out in 1984 called High Energy. And literally speaking, my mom, let me see if I got this.
Oh, yeah.
I got it. Hold on a second.
Yes. There she is. Boy, who does she look like?
Yeah, right. So this song came out in 1984. It's called High Energy, and it was it was the only one of its kind at the time, and that's why they call her the queen of high energy. Sure. Now, family is amazing. That's my mother. So if you go back and you look at Porgy and Bess, Raisin in the Sun, you'll go ahead and you'll see my great uncle's voice, which is Robert McFerrin, and you'll see that there. And that is my great uncle, Robert McFerrin. Now, Robert is Bobby's father, right? So Bobby's my cousin. So
Wait, I see. Okay.
yeah, so Robert McFerrin's my uncle, my great uncle, my grandfather's brother. And then Bobby
Got
is Robert's son, and
got it.
then they have children and stuff like that.
Right, right,
So,
right.
yeah, so the family is like, and then I did the ancestry thing and found out that Monica, the singer,
Yep.
just one of them days,
I know who that
she's
is.
in the family somewhere too.
What did somebody else sing something like "Last Dance"?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we found out that Donna Summer is in the family in my mother's side. I was like, what?
But you know, I did a show in
Kidding.
Tulum, and the guy Bruce Sedano, he was called Bruce Sedano in the Candyman Band, and I rapped with him all night in my villa, and we had a great time. And he played right before me. Then I went on, and it just was. We both did acoustic sets on the beach, and then at some point, someone said, "You know what that is?" I'm like, "Who is it?" It's Bruce Sedano in the Candyman Band. He goes, "It's Donna Summer's husband, dummy."
You see, I never met a lot of my family members because I've always been on tour. I was always on tour with my mom. So it was like
Who did you guys
I was
tour with?
gone. I was gone. I was
Who
gone
did you
most
tour
of the
with?
time. Yeah. Huh?
Who did you tour with?
My mother, since
No,
I
I mean,
was
like,
4.
were you ever like ever been?
Oh, Wham, George Michael, Eartha Kitt, Barbara Pennington, Sylvester.
Well, that's my
Um,
Wham.
I mean, the Weather Girls. I mean,
Yeah.
listen to this. Okay,
Jack
so
young man, sing a land free.
so listen to this. Back in Chicago, I used
Okay.
to go to this church.
Okay.
It was like one of the basement churches, right? So we go to the church with my godmother, and she would like, get ready for church and everything. We go to church, and then after church, we'd all eat. Well, guess who was cooking? The Weather Girls. They could cook.
What
Well, my goodness gracious, I had all kinds
was
of
it?
good food,
What
and
was it?
they taught me my first song.
No, what was it?
Yes, Jesus loves me.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that was my very first song taught to me at church by the Weather Girls in the pulpit. I mean, literally
What is
speaking,
that?
and
What city is this? Where are you guys at this point?
Chicago, Illinois.
Where house music was born.
Yeah, I know. I was born there.
Okay, cool. So everybody was in that scene. What do you had? Chicago, New York, LA, but Chicago seems to
Right.
be a hotbed. It was kind of a mecca.
Right. So most of my mother's hits were overseas. So we would like, we lived in New York, so we just jump on a train back and go to the, because you don't need a car. Jump on the
Sure.
train or get in a cab, go to the airport, and then go to Heathrow. And then from Heathrow we go wherever we're gonna go. I've been all over the world. It's been amazing. Yeah. It's been amazing. Yeah.
Any favorite spots?
I absolutely love Paris.
No, well,
My
duh.
favorite restaurant is the one that's inside of the tower that revolves around. It's so nice.
Oh yeah.
And the second spot, there's always a second spot. I go to that's my first. Huh?
Restaurant in the middle of the Eiffel Tower, the one up there up top.
Yeah, the one that goes around. It takes about what, 30 minutes or 45 minutes for it to
Awesome.
circle. So yeah, that one.
Yeah, it takes a minute. We actually did it just for sometimes we're silly and we think, oh, we're gonna get a workout. Just like the time when me and my wife Candace, we decided on a Sunday morning to wake up and go, hey, should we do the LA Marathon? Yeah, and then we were like we ran 11 miles, walked the rest because our blisters on our feet were so bad. But we did that in Paris anyway, and we were on the wall trying to get back to the car after that. But yes, that is a good stairmaster. I think my booty went up about. I got a Brazilian butt lift on Portuguese. A Brazilian butt lift.
I was young.
On that walk.
I was young. I loved to walk. I don't know if I would love it this time around, but that was great. Then my second one was the changing of the guards in London, at the Palace. But
Yep.
right around the corner back in those days, there was a burger joint. Oh my goodness, it was so good. Oh gosh, and Eartha Kitt took me there with Sylvester, and I remember it was wonderful. I know. It was like I mean, I love them. My mom was. So the deal was that when okay, so the kids would come, and if anybody was over the Berlin Wall, whoever wasn't over the Berlin Wall would keep the kids. So Eartha, Sylvester, and a lot of people kept the kids, and then my mom would be on the other side. And so then when my mom was on this side, then she would keep the kids, or the producer would keep the kids, and it was
This is the
amazing.
split up, right? The Berlin Wall was. I mean, it
Right.
was
Yeah,
okay.
that was before the wall came down. And actually you could see a piece of the wall at Universal Studios in Orlando now, right behind the Hard Rock. And my mom said that she signed the Berlin Wall before it went down. So I
Funny
don't
that
know
you
what
say
that
that
piece of
because we are
history
the
is. But
official sound of BMW Monaco coming out of the store there, and
yeah. Mm.
it's interesting to see that the BMW. There was a little BMW that they snuck people under the Berlin Wall or around. I don't know how they got there, but they would across. So they would pack them all in the bottom of this BMW. It's actually in our music video,
Mm.
and they would transport them through, but in a BMW. They like saved lives, and the guy kept doing donuts and donuts of trips of people bringing them through. I didn't know that until obviously we became the sound of BMW from our good friend Chris, who's a patron at Blue Gin where we work in Monaco. And it just was, he said, hey, can I give you 10 words and in French? And we did it. But to see the video, I was like, wow, I didn't realize the impact and the just the scenario that was going on at that time was just so, unfortunately ugly, but it was incredibly beautiful to see how people loved and appreciated life so much to risk their own to save others.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And you know,
You were there when it was happening. That's so cool. And that's
I
an thing.
I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea what was going on. I
Was
mean,
it?
I was a
Were you,
kid.
you guys were on so much. Tours. It's such a whirlwind, right? You just don't even.
You don't
You're
even know. I mean, you don't even know. You're just in the middle of whatever's going on. You don't even really see it. And they kept us pretty busy. All the kids had tutors and governesses. So we
what do
were,
you mean
you
kids? What's
know,
all the kids?
huh?
What's all the kids mean? How many kids?
So usually it would just be me
Okay.
with my mom, but then sometimes the producer's kids.
Oh yeah.
He had two kids. They were in the music video. The boy
Oh,
and the girl with me. All three of us were in the music video because we were being taken care of by my mom. So so it
it's the
was
way
like,
it is.
"Just put
When I
him up
see,
in the front of the stage."
when I see you, Griffin, no matter what you're doing, I'm still his dad. No matter what, I don't care how great you think you are, or whatever it is. Your kid will bring you right down to earth immediately with like, really, that's super cool. Could I have something to eat and some water?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely, definitely. So
It is a
that
fun.
was
Nicholas has been laughing all week because he gets to see this whole thing. He's like, I'm like, perfect.
it.
Almost one. Today, me and Yaya, like, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about that later. And have you ever, he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean? What do I mean? I'm trying to tell you. It's funny.
Oh my
Funny.
gosh.
Oh
Oh
boy.
my gosh. Yeah, children, man. I remember my mom told me, she said one time, we were overseas. I don't know where I was. I don't
Yeah.
remember. I was very, very young. I was, oh, maybe 7 or 8 years old.
Oh my
And I
God.
looked at my mother and I was missing like my godmother, my grandmother, my dad, my whole family, I was missing everybody. And I looked at her, and back then they had pounds and they had half
Yeah,
pennies. So
yeah,
you
yeah.
remember the pounds? Okay, so
Pounds
like the
sterling.
smaller, huh?
They're called pounds sterling.
Right. So the smaller the value, the smaller the bill.
Right.
But the bigger the value, the bigger the bill got. And I looked at my mother and I said, I want to see dollar bills and quarters and dimes and nickels. She
That's
was like, she had to put me on a plane by myself from the UK with
wow.
an assistant on, how they have, they have like a person that would travel with you.
That was a pilot. And so when
Right.
so it would
So
help.
to New York.
Yeah,
And
wow.
then from New York, I had to get another plane to Chicago.
The
And
other
I
thing
was
about
my
the
mom
money
said that was
is,
the worst time in her life that she ever
oh, really?
had to put her child on a plane by herself.
Yeah. It's interesting how we look at the quarters and the nickels and all that stuff, because if you really look at the history of it, which I always love to do, it was bushels of, in America, it was bushels of hay
Mm,
or wheat. It was bushels of wheat. So you had your bushels and you traded with your bushels. And then eventually, they had such big fields that they used some form of whatever it was, paper that they made that represented the bushels. And it was, believe it was gold bars too that had to be to back up each of the
yeah.
papers that backed up the bushels, right? And then this is where the whole money thing came from. How they came up with the idea of who would be on them and what would be on them and what they would look like is such an honestly, I guess, strange thing. But we become so familiar with what you see as a child. Oh, do you remember this? I
Yeah.
don't remember this. My grandparents used to show me hay pennies.
Oh,
You ever
yeah. Oh my gosh, yes, I remember those.
hay penny?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I think I have them somewhere. And yeah, a hay penny was a half of a penny. So
Yes.
I tease about the music industry because we'll talk about that in free fall. But it is funny that I'm writing in the song. It's like, what are you getting? A half of a half of a half of a percent, because when you think it's going to go well, it's all of a sudden you look, you're like, wait a minute, I got a hay penny on this thing. I wrote it, I did it, and some guy that walked in bringing coffee and said a word somehow got 10 points because they use that word. It's just cuckoo birds. But we're
But
gonna
you
get
know what? They still have the hay penny on the gas. So when you're doing your gasoline and you see like it says 0.4615, those are hay pennies. They still
no,
do
is that
that.
really?
Yeah, that's what that is.
Oh, I did not know that. Oh, that's
Yeah,
wow. Did
they're
I not?
cheating us, man. They're like giving us half pennies.
Don't worry, we're coming for them.
I know, right? But seriously, wow. What I mean, and this has just been a whirlwind for me just to actually go from 2 weeks ago to today. We have a complete song.
Oh, well, again, when you are a motivated human being like we all are, you get stuff done and you don't want to wait. I mean, it's what are we waiting for? There's nothing
Exactly.
to do it, right? Let's get to it.
Exactly.
So I
That's
love
right.
the fact that, well, guess what? You came immediately with, hey, I got this thing and I got an idea and it's this. And it's like, wow, cool. Well, let's get on it. And I remember telling you, and you're like, you mean like you're going to work on it today? And that's where in free flow, we're going to talk about all the musical funny things. But yes, the idea is yes, because we all equate each other's effort in our own way. And we want to get there. Let's go. What are we doing here?
Exactly.
All on death's row, right? I mean, this is life. It's just, what is our stay of reprieve, right? We know nobody knows. What are you waiting for? You know what I mean? The answer and the result for all your stress, hate, love, whatever it is, on a long enough timeline, you're out of here, no matter what you do. So let's get to it. So that's what we do, and that's what you do. And you're gonna I'm gonna tell you the greatest thing I learned.
Uh-oh.
It's really very interesting. Imagine why we find each other is because we're like bugs. Bugs,
Those are bugs.
bugs are attracted to a certain type of light. All bugs are attracted,
Oh
right? And so when you go
no.
around the world,
You just got me. I was just thinking about a cockroach.
no, they hate the light.
I know.
They don't like light.
See the light on it.
You go to Jamaica and you go to or south of France, anywhere around water and warm weather, there are certain type of bugs that are always there because they're attracted to a certain type of light, right? So if you go to Alaska, if you go here, you're going to see all these different types. It's not my thing; it's a scientific thing, but you can look it up. But the idea is that it makes perfect sense why we would be attracted to each other because we both and many people like the same type of light, right?
Yeah.
It's really such a, because I say crazy 1,000 times a day, and everybody, my close people, actually, Reiner Hoschke just shot a really cool photo shoot of us. He said, he texted me the other day. He's Austrian, He said, not crazy, Shawn. Actually, it's pretty right. Yeah, it's pretty right on for you because that thing that you do that attracts, certain individuals, it's just a natural thing, and it's an energy and a circling, thing that it's going to attract the type of light that you are attracted to. And so, I mean, it's almost a dumb moment that, of course, this is why we're doing this, because we both like the same kind of light and we appreciate the same kind of light. And we can see that in others, which is you for me.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing. Thank you. We're not cockroaches, huh?
Oh, yeah. You try to be serious.
Oh,
Thank God we both have. I mean, me, I got lucky with my teeth. So did she. So a lot. I mean, thank you.
Forget it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I can't wait to get our first show out. I mean, well, actually, our first official show out, but
Yeah, sure.
also, Change the World is coming out. When is that gonna be coming out? Because you know more than I do.
We have a July 23rd, I think. Didn't I say that? I said July 23rd. Yeah. So that's a Friday. 23, so that's I always forget. July, August, so that's 7, right? 7/23.
Mm-hmm.
Right? 2023. So yeah, it's coming fast. We're just going to give it a little time to build up and get a whole big hype machine behind it, because that's kind of what we do. We love to well, here, see this pinky? This one's straight. This one is not so straight, because the way I hold my iPhone to thank everybody, you see where it sits? My pinky sits there.
No way.
A little bit of a funky finger from doing this. Thank you, thank you, thank you to a total of 4.2 million people. I have 3.5 on my personal and 720 on the other. But I'm the moron that thinks it's, you should thank everybody. And my kid says, Dad, can you put the phone down for a minute? And so I wait now till they're all asleep, and then I go and do it as much as I can. But it is hard to do, but it's good to get that energy out there. And so that when it does hit, everybody's, you do all your little clips and your teasers and your fun stuff. And it's just like anything, it's again, the simplest term is a hype machine, but it's a fun one. It's super fun. And it just makes that energy build, and everybody loves it. Oh man, I got 20 seconds of it here and 5 there. So when it's ready, it's like boom. And it's just a big blossom of love and excellence and energy and life. And it's fun to us too, because guess what? Now you've heard it, so and it's so hard to not show your friends. It is very.
I'm not going to show any. It's not hard. Nobody needs to know.
I hit send so many times, and I had to learn, hang on to it. Like I think Madonna said that. Madonna was like, "Listen, I don't really understand." And it was a funny thing about an album. Like, why are you giving it all at one time? Like one track, then another track. If you give it all to them, which again, that was the old way of doing it, right? You did an album and you put it out. But you are, in essence, you burn it all at one time when you could say, hey, again, it's the shotgun versus the rifle, right? If you're going to take dead aim at something, or even an archer, they're not shooting 5. I mean, maybe that's a better example. Is an archer has 1 arrow. He does not have 15 arrows like you would have in a, it's 1 at a time.
Like a movie that never runs out.
What's that?
That's like a movie that never runs out.
There you go.
50 million arrows. Where they get all those arrows?
Is a Cherokee Indian. So there's probably like that much of me is, but I get away with getting to wear the headdress and the whole thing. And, it's, whatever. There's a little piece of me that's Cherokee. So it is what it is. But the arrow thing is, see, our tattoo, our family tattoo is that one. That's me and the arrow. And then there's like me, Griffin, and Candace right there. That's my family. So we did the 3. But yeah, the feathers and arrows and things like that are super cool. And we'll talk about that in the next segment too, because, today, you got to be careful. Everybody gets offended if you sneeze the wrong way. I'm telling you, I got some funny stuff.
I don't know if we're not going to offend somebody in this.
No, it's completely fine. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about the 8 scales thing. Yeah, no, believe me. Somebody's going to be like, those, whatever they want to call us, they can do with their thing. But so the 8 scales, what we're going to do with that is, and I told you that's the Investors Business Daily thing. We're going to actually pick one person that exudes one of the scales. We just picked 8 because there's 8. I guess I don't know what it is. Here's the funny thing about writing music. I can't read it. I can't write it. I can play it and write it in the essence of writing it, but to actually write the notes out, never learned that. Neither did the Beatles. Most of the big artists have, of course, okay, fine. Your friend says that's a G and that's an A, and you see it on the guitar and the piano, and you pick that part up, but never learned any of that stuff. But we're going to get into, I forgot what I was going to say. What was I saying? Oh God, I totally goofed. So anyway, the 8 scale. Oh my God. Wow. She just put it up on the screen for the adolescent in me. Oh man. Wow. This is Yaya Soul. This is what we do. Okay. So each time we do a segment, we're going to talk about someone that exudes one of them. And we're going to pick what those are. We'll figure out what the 8 are going to be, and we'll pick that. It's going to be something to do with, each section. There's a million sections in music, but, you can go through touring, the people that go with you on the road. Then there's all those people that are with you in the studio. And they're the people that write with you. There are the people that maybe teach you, piano or guitar or whatever it is. Or there's people that, work on your voice. And then there's all the guys. Imagine all the people that build all the instruments. Someone has to make your guitar and your piano and your flute and your, everything that you're playing. So there's all these different elements that we'll talk about. And then there's people that do tour support. and they help you on the road. And there's your agents and your managers and all these things. And, and in the end of the day, a lot of us, I believe it's the thing you have to do if you want to get there is you are all of that at some point. In essence, every part of it is you, especially when you're starting. But I will tell you this, if you don't learn all those things and you're not into all those things, you're never going to understand how somebody else is supposed to be doing those things, right?
Right.
If you're smart, you want to educate yourself to the whole field. I always use sports, but you should know what, your other players are doing and what they're not doing into the music businesses. That can get a little wild, but the more you know, the more you grow, right? I mean, the more you have an essence and an ability to go, not really. I don't think that's how that works. Read some books, do your homework, and educate yourself because, they're gunning for you. If you're not ready, I'll tell you, they're coming to get you.
I know. They are, and they're going to get you if you're not ready. Definitely gotta be ready. Oh my gosh, Shawn. This is going to be so much fun. You know what I'm looking forward to doing? I'm so looking forward to actually meeting you in person and actually doing all of this because I know that we're eventually going to have to be face to face.
Oh no, I mean that's going to be to feel the energy like personally. There's nothing like that. And again, we talk so much. It's going to be the greatest hug ever because it's already there. You already feel it and know it. It's just a matter of now just actually the physical connection, which is a lot of times the thing that, that today that's lost because we have phones and computers and all these, different things. And I try as often as I can to be in a car, in a plane, wherever it is to get to the human being that's, building this stuff with you.
Yeah.
It's so easy to be once removed from all that with all the technology, but there's nothing like human touch. I mean, come on, there's no way.
No
way. It's something that'll amplify anything you were doing anyway, and it also answers a lot of could be insecurities, could be questions, could be wondering. Because guess what? When you see them in action and they're right in front of you, you can't hide anything. You're going to see the family, and you're going to see what they're about, and text is very crazy. There is no intonation in text. You may think what somebody said was one way, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that you meant it like that. But when you're sitting there talking to the person, guess what? There's not really much to hide. I mean, you can sit there and lie the whole time. Yeah, sure. But guess what? All of that will eventually get revealed, right? Always work at revealing everything because that's where we should be anyway. So the honesty in a personal relationship is that connection. When you're standing next to the person, sitting in front of them, standing beside them, walking together and doing something, I don't really think you can beat that. I don't know how you beat that, but
you can't. Yeah. You can't. And I can't wait because you're saying that we're going to do a music video. We got to do all this before this comes out on the 23rd. Am I correct? Am I wrong on this? Am I like,
you got like 60 days or something like that?
Yes. We got like 60 days to do all this, don't we?
Oh my goodness. Yes, we will get it done.
Shawn, what'd you do to us?
Oops. I don't know what happened.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to have a great time. I think we should record it too.
Oh, for sure we will.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Like when I get off the plane and I just run and hug you and your wife, it's going to be so cool.
I usually have this phone and everybody says, geez, you don't put that thing down. I'm like, well, it's always funny when you're at the dinner table and everybody says, oh, can I see what we did today? Oh, you forgot to bring your camera? Well, I didn't. But it looks a little goofy sometimes that you're just got all these cameras going. But listen, when you sit with your family and you see the old pictures and all the history, it's again, you may have those memories, but sometimes you didn't get to experience that, and you get to see who your ancestors were and what was going on. And back in the day, it was just imagery that did that. And now we have so many ways to record that. I mean, why wouldn't we?
Yeah. So change the world. 27th of July. Oh my gosh. I heard it already.
Right now, change the world. I mean, and we need it all the time, and it does need to change. And again, if it's not changing, it's not evolving, it's not growing.
That's right.
It's not moving. And I always say, it's a funny thing. When you don't like a situation, you will actually change it. When you do like it, sometimes complacency comes from that. But change the world is usually because it's needed.
Yeah.
It's either a personal thing or it's something that the elements of life are causing. And so, yes, there'll probably never be a time when change the world is not relevant.
Definitely. And when I heard your voice and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to work with him. I got to work with him. I'm just going to ask. I'm just going to ask.
Less from whatever you want to call the deity above you, and everybody has all their names for it. And I love it. One of my favorite ones was from a Celtic priest that taught me you gather everything here in your head, where people tell you all the information, you organize it, what's right and wrong in your heart, right? And your stomach, your gut. So your gut has more, what do you call that? Neurons and different things, than your head does. You actually feel it more in your gut than you do your, right? You know that.
Yeah.
So there's a really great special called The Second Brain. And it's about you ever see that? So it's all about that. And what do we do? What are we doing right now? We're delivering it.
That's right.
You're giving it back. You're getting it out of you. And you're the channel. That's it. It comes in from everywhere in all different styles and ways and forms. You organize it here and then deliver it. So I like that. The God is very cool. And again, doesn't matter what you call he, she, it, whatever it is, what you call your deity, what you look up to or inspired by. It should be that. It should be something that moves you and elevates you. And, no need to be provincial about it. We could be closed-minded, but guess what? We're humans. We're all on earth here together and in the universe together. Understand. Just be understanding. We can all, again, you play baseball, I play football. What does that matter? You can respect the other person, right? And their instrument and their life and their feelings and their emotions and we all never know. Who knows why anybody got to be where they were in life? Why would we ever subtract? We should add.
That's right. That's right. And we're going to add this show right here to your subscription. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This show is going to be coming on. How many times are we going to do this show, Shawn?
You got a lot. Listen, we're all full of steam, me and you. Like, we got tons to say.
Not only that, we got tons to do. We got 60 days before the song comes out.
I tell you, and I'll tell you guys on this note, the funniest thing is when she said, Shawn, I just sent you the transcript of the first conversation we had, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody put 50 pages, I think it was 50 pages or maybe it was 25, of transcript up in a 37-minute show. I said, oh, you didn't meet me yet.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But it's you know what? This is just it was meant to be.
Totally. Absolutely. In Hebrew, they call that bashert. Bashert means meant to be. I'm not even Jewish, but I know that.
Well, why not? Right? Oh my gosh. Well, Shawn, you ready to change the world?
I am with you and everybody else. Right?
Yes, definitely. And I am with you and everyone else too. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to go because we got a big thing to do. We got 60 days, maybe even a little bit more than 60 days, right? Is it more? No, it's less.
Yeah. But remember too, we're going to go on a segment.
Whatever the case.
Free form too, and we'll do that next time. But what we're going to do is talk openly and freely about life and what happens in the music business, what happens wherever it is. And again, we won't offend anyone. We're going to try work not to, but we should be able to all talk about things. Today, it's like if you picked your nose wrong, you're going to get in trouble.
If you pick your nose wrong, you're going to get in trouble?
No, you're going to, because that was just a funny example. But I don't think I've ever said that my whole life, or whatever. Well, you do know this. I mean, you can, oh God, you can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
I should hope not.
If you're like me, I eat it. What do you mean?
Oh. We definitely need change in the world if that's what's coming.
Okay. Anyway, one segment at one time, and we're promising we're not going to be eating boogers on the show. But,
stop.
Yeah, I'll stop there.
Thank you guys so much for
it's so fun. And again, the platform that Yaya's created is such a cool thing. There's so many things that, and again, you never know until you talk to somebody. What gets revealed in the essence of someone comes in time. I think time is what allows us to all understand. And I'm like every day stoked, man. She calls me. She's not as crazy as me. I call all the time or text all the time. But when she calls, it's like, I'm like, huh? What are we doing? What's happening? I'm like, I text you that the sun came out. She wakes up stuff, which I love. And again, it's just that, which is probably a bigger pleasure because guess what? When Yaya speaks, it is something.
Oh my gosh, it's late.
For you, it definitely is. For me, it probably is. It's I don't even know what time it is anymore. I'm on like
It is 1 a.m.
Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, oh God, you can't even say that anymore. Imagine my wife's a trial attorney, and you're not allowed to say ladies and gentlemen anymore because of the
gender thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
well,
you know what else you can't say?
What?
I'm in the master bedroom. You're not allowed. Refers to slavery. You
oh my gosh.
You're not even in the courtroom. You cannot say master bedroom anymore or ladies and gentlemen. It's interesting.
All right. I'm in the bigger room in the house.
What's that?
And people.
What's that?
People, good night.
Okay, we're going to stop before this goes south.
Seriously, turn the lights out. We're cockroaches. When you see the lights come back on, we're going to be
gone. I almost said lazy. Listen, I never said cockroaches. I said bugs and
lights. I know, but that's what came to my brain.
Your fault.
Bye, guys. We'll see you next time.
Remember, if you believe in peace, you do that. If you believe in freedom, you turn them to the side, and that's the end of code. Ending all the codes we were taught to live by. We should all be able to be together and speak freely and openly. We named our duo that because we want to do that through music. It's exactly what we're doing with Yaya. And me and Nico are so stoked to have that energy now together with us. And just wait. We're just going to keep doing it. I mean, why wouldn't we?
Yes, I'm excited. And whoop, I'm waiting for the next song to come to me. You know,
but we know about waiting with us. We know one thing. We swim out to the boat. We don't stand on the dock. Oh, picking our nose. We don't stand on the dock picking our nose. We swim out to the
or somebody else's nose.
You see what happens, guys? This is what happens. It becomes a giggle fest.
Good night. Bye. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you'll be notified the next time that I upload. And don't forget to dare to be different. Until next time, guys.
I dare to be different. I dare to be different. I dare to